Level up, never lose, should've had better luck. Tryna see a check, I'ma run it up. Yeah, I do a lot, still ain't done enough. Level up, tryna see a check, I'ma run it up. Yeah, I do a lot, still ain't done enough. Never lose, should've had better luck. I'ma wake 'em up from a slumber. Money ain't nothing but a thing, and the level ain't nothing but a number. Life ain't nothing but a game. Level up, never lose, should've had better luck. Tryna see a check, I'ma run it up. Yeah, I do a lot, still ain't done enough. Waking up meant that he gave me a chance and I'm rolling the dice. I do it all, living like I'm trying to go for the platinum trophy in life. Who can you call? Really nobody, so you should just follow me on your device. And know if she chilling with me, then it's bound to be chemical X and the sugar and spice. Game in the system, but game is the hobby. I'm probably cocky, but hot as wasabi. I mean, if it's beef, then you know where to find me. My niggas is ready and so is my body. You should be running and telling your posse and what's in the speakers and what's in your potty. And she trying to kick it, but this ain't karate. Just keep that shit down while I'm watching Tsunami. I ain't saying I'm a super nerd, but I told you when we got involved, my idea of a perfect date is a PlayStation and some alcohol. I was role playing on GTA. I'm a good guy, but I got it all. If the world should end, be the first to leave, but the last of us acting naughty, dog. Level up, never lose, should've had better luck. Tryna see a check, I'ma run it up. Yeah, I do a lot, still ain't done enough. Level up, tryna see a check, I'ma run it up. Yeah, I do a lot, still ain't done enough. Never lose, should've had better luck. I'ma wake 'em up from a slumber. Money ain't nothing but a thing, and the level ain't nothing but a number. Life ain't nothing but a game. Level up, never lose, should've had better luck. Tryna see a check, I'ma run it up. Yeah, I do a lot, still ain't done enough. Level up, never lose, should've had better luck. Tryna see a check, I'ma run it up. Yeah, I do a lot, still ain't done enough. Level up, tryna see a check, I'ma run it up. Yeah, I do a lot, still ain't done enough. Never lose, should've had better luck. I'ma wake 'em up from a slumber. Money ain't nothing but a thing, and the level ain't nothing but a number. Life ain't nothing but a game. Level up, never lose, should've had better luck. Tryna see a check, I'ma run it up. Yeah, I do a lot, still ain't done enough. Waking up meant that he gave me a chance and I'm rolling the dice. I do it all, living like I'm trying to go for the platinum trophy in life. Who can you call? Really nobody, so you should just follow me on your device. And know if she chilling with me, then it's bound to be chemical X and the sugar and spice. Game in the system, but game is the hobby. I'm probably cocky, but hot as wasabi. I mean, if it's beef, then you know where to find me. My niggas is ready and so is my body. You should be running and telling your posse and what's in the speakers and what's in your potty. And she trying to kick it, but this ain't karate. Just keep that shit down while I'm watching Tsunami. I ain't saying I'm a super nerd, but I told you when we got involved, my idea of a perfect date is a PlayStation and some alcohol. I was role playing on GTA. I'm a good guy, but I got it all. If the world should end, be the first to leave, but the last of us acting naughty, dog. Level up, never lose, should've had better luck. Tryna see a check, I'ma run it up. Yeah, I do a lot, still ain't done enough. Level up, tryna see a check, I'ma run it up. Yeah, I do a lot, still ain't done enough. Never lose, should've had better luck. I'ma wake 'em up from a slumber. Money ain't nothing but a thing, and the level ain't nothing but a number. Life ain't nothing but a game. Level up, never lose, should've had better luck. Tryna see a check, I'ma run it up. Yeah, I do a lot, still ain't done enough.
What's going on, people? Fame Entertainment here from Lv1 Gaming.com. And congratulations, you guys leveled up to 294. This is the Lv1 Gaming Podcast. My hands are free. Thank God Hugger is back because I do not know what I'm doing. I cannot host and try to be entertaining and press buttons at the same time. So I am grateful that Hugger is back running the show tonight. I am hearing myself in the background for some reason, but I hope you guys didn't hear that because it kind of drove me crazy for a little bit. But we got two awesome guests with us tonight. But first, before we jump into it, let you guys know, if you enjoyed the stream, if you liked or laughed, if you laughed or hated anything we say tonight, hit that like button because you owe it to us. Secondly, so much amazing content on Lv1Gaming.com. So many amazing writers, and make sure you guys go check them out. Show our writers some support. They do some amazing work. Lots to talk about tonight. Metroid, Nintendo's Direct was fantastic. There's a weird debate online on who had the best non E3 game show, which is weird. Like, oh, Xbox did it, and then Nintendo took over. Really, really silly. I have no idea why that's a debate. Xbox gamers are mad at Capcom because Capcom decided to bring back a game at every platform but the Xbox, and then one of the big three has decided to join another of the big three and say, we're not going overseas for a game show. But first, introductions. My right hand, man, the floor hugger with the hardest of hearts. What's going on, sis?
What's going on, everybody? I'm glad to be back. I'm glad to take over and let Fame be the amazing host that he is and just produce the show and let him ride and just talk about it. Keith's here. Like, ooh, we're having fun tonight.
Are we having fun tonight? Because it's never any fun when Baron's around. He's the party pooper of the bunch.
Conversation we had before this is pretty fun.
He sits around drinking black coffee and eating pinwheels like the old man that he is, ruining everyone's fun.
I didn't have oatmeal this morning, so my day started off strange.
That means he was able to poop today, guys. Next up, DALLAZ.
Man.
What's
Hey,
that?
I kind of feel some type of way that I couldn't show my cartoon face, but it's a miracle that I was able to show up today. And I'm kind of glad because we got a couple cool people pulling up. I didn't make them feel so cool beforehand, but only one of them got the roast. So let's see how long it takes for the other one to get roasted. Let's get it.
Next up, if your emails is popping and your DMs is full, that's because the communications director at Lv1 Gaming trying to get a hold of you, baby. Banj67, what's going on, Chief?
Well, just out here winning. Absolutely winning. I finished the No Man's Sky expedition, my first expedition, and here it is. I've been playing that game since launch. It was a game that pushed me to actually buy a PlayStation 4. And yeah, so I actually did it. And Sean Murray be so proud of me. I just want to thank all the people who believed in me, not Fame, because he's a level 1 hater. I just gotta say thank you guys for being here to witness this great moment. It is definitely going to be a plaque in my home.
Hey, who cares, bro? I got all the achievements in Bro Tito, so
damn.
Better.
He's
better. All 83.
He's such a hater. He's such a hater.
I'm just saying. Next up, the founder of the Outer Haven, and this man has a pass to come in and rate the refrigerator whenever he see fit. My brother Keith, what's going on, my guy?
Man, life is strange, and I'm not talking about the game. Life is strange, man. Oof. For those who've been following my Twitter feed, you know exactly what I'm talking about. And I don't want to take over the show real quick, but working at a company for 19 years and they suddenly decide to give you the boot, but you don't feel bad. You're like, you know what? I feel great. They ain't keeping me down. I got a bright future ahead of me. Man, 19 years in an IT company? That's unheard of anymore.
Yeah.
But what I'm gonna do?
Anywhere.
I'm gonna sit my ass down for a couple months, look at what I'm doing, maybe focus on content creation, maybe look at stuff I wanted to do before. I made sure my path was straight, so they ain't holding me back. So the only problem they gonna have is when people go, "Hey, where's Keith at? Yo, we fired him." You what?
Yep.
Hey.
Played yourself.
Right.
He's popping on OnlyFans. Last but not least, the woman in charge at But Why Though, and another fellow Texan, because Texas takes over this podcast. Kate, what's going on, sis?
Hi. I just took a nap, so you all are getting me as well rested as I can be, which is significantly harder these days. But yeah, hi, I'm here. Thanks for having me.
Listen, I really appreciate you, Kate. It's been a very, very long
Been
time.
a long
and
time.
And I feel like I always feel bad because we live in Texas, and I feel like only time I've seen you was when we're not in Texas. Last time I saw you in was like ridiculous.
And it was very quick, like we were running past each other.
Yeah.
Like, next time we are all in the same place, there needs to be a dinner involved.
Yes.
At least some
we definitely
foods.
Gonna make it happen. Yeah. We're gonna make it happen. Listen, shout out to the chat, man. I see y'all in the chat. Brandon in the chat. I see you. James, Drake, T Force. It said thanks for the free membership. Whoever gifted that out, shout out to y'all for giving it out to T Force. Arcade in the chat. I see you, Arcade. Sly Crow came through rock with his boardy. Make boards in the chat, man. Listen, you got to do me a big favor. If you guys could share the stream out and like the stream, that like button is free 99, but it goes a long way more than you know. Share the stream out on Twitter or X or the Hub, wherever you like to share things out at. Please feel free to share the stream out because that helps us out a whole bunch. Now, I want to ask the panel because I want to jump into. No, I'm gonna switch it up. I want to talk about Capcom first, right? I was going to talk Metro about. I do want to talk Capcom, right? Because there has been an uproar. People are pissed off that are owning an Xbox because another game has been announced a collection that is not coming for Xbox. As you guys know, before we got collection from Square Enix, when they did the Final Fantasy collection, that didn't come on Xbox. And there's been this trend of these certain games not coming on Xbox, and for a lot of people, they assumed, well, maybe they don't feel like they're going to get a return of investment because the gamers over there. And I saw a thing with the developers talked about at one point that the gamers are conditioned to, if it's not in Game Pass, I'm not going to buy it. But now we're sort of hearing that may be a technical side of it. But B, I'm gonna start with you. Marvel vs. Capcom, for a lot of people, that's one of the, like, I don't play fighters, but when it comes to fighters, I'll play Marvel vs. Capcom. Like that's my jam. I get down with it, especially at the arcade. Give me some sticks and we good to go. But there is an outroar. People upset, like, hey, like Xbox is getting screwed over. There's been articles from multiple websites, Windows Central,
Forbes, everything. Yeah.
It's a big deal for a lot of people.
Yeah.
B, how big of a deal is it for this game not to be releasing on Xbox?
You know what's crazy? I think this is like multi-layer because this is a big opinion, a big problem, just because of the quality of game it is, right? But then you layer it on top of the fact that this isn't the first game, the first major third-party release that's missing Xbox, and it's kind of frustrating when you see the richest company in the world run into that. The richest company in the world that's built on a company of tech. You know, I'm not a tech guy, I'm a consumer first, just laying it out there. But knowing that all these things, and then you're running into technical issues, and that's the reason they're saying that this major game that people have been begging for. There's whole YouTube careers that were built off begging for Marvel versus Capcom 2. And the game is finally freed because there was a hashtag free Marvel versus Capcom 2. And for it to get released and for one of the big three not to have it is absolutely insane.
And to give some context, Beat, I'm gonna let you keep going to make sure we'll give some context. Again, like Ben said, we don't do technical stuff here, right?
Yeah, I'm not a tech.
Apparently, this is because the MT framework on Xbox One is dead. That is the system that they use, and they're not supporting the Xbox One anymore. So that's the reason why, from what it sounds like, that's why you're not getting stuff from Monster Hunter Stories, the Mega Man Battle Network, and then now this newest thing. This is the reason why. But I would think Xbox would go to Capcom and say, "Hey, I want to find out."
Once again, I'm not tech. I do not build things. I buy things. I'm a consumer. It's hard. Like you're one of the, if not the richest company on planet Earth. Please reach out to this large publisher and work out a way to make it to where your consumers and people who are in your ecosystem can enjoy these games that we've been looking for and waiting for and begging for. And that's, even if you take it at a loss, you kind of, this is weird. There you go. It's weird. And it's hard for me to get it from my consumer brain.
I want to swing over to Kate and get Kate started on this because she looked like she itching. She got something. Kate, your thoughts on Marvel vs. Capcom and Xbox?
So two things. Exclusive are inherently anti-consumer. That's something I've always thought. Yeah, shouldn't have to pay $600 more to play one game that's something else. Everything should be on everything, and we're increasingly in a system where that is going to be the norm because exclusives aren't sustainable in the long run because the gaming bubble has burst. That being said, from a technical, there are two things. One, if Microsoft wasn't laying everybody off, they may have external teams to handle embedded systems of building things over. But that's what they chose to do. And then the second thing is too, one of the things that I think is going to happen increasingly with Microsoft is less work with publishers for acquiring stuff like this if it involves redoing systems on their existing consoles, because they have been chided for so long. This isn't me taking Microsoft's side, by the way, but it's just me and like how I see how they made their decision making is they've started investing like the last few years in like on acquiring studios, making first party content and all that. A lot of people don't think that it's first party because they do put it on multiple platforms, but that's still where their investment is. So when you spend all the investment with that, you spend less investment trying to acquire and get those things. But from like a hardware situation, like you do have to, that is money. It's essentially platforming in a different way. And whenever anytime something is on multiple consoles, it is platforming. And if there's something like that that's not figured out, then you're just kind of gonna be there. That is for my personal feelings. I don't know why people are mad. They're video games. They're video games. I wish I had the
everything.
I wish I had the energy in my soul to be that angry at something that isn't affecting me in a luxury level.
It's because of people, like you said, not wanting to go out and spend another $600 on particular
I understand
things.
that.
Shout out to Jay Barr, the $2 super chat. He says, "Play it on PlayStation or PC. It's Marvel, baby.
And everybody can do that."
Oh no.
Yeah.
That's the
And
wrong
I
thing.
think shout out to Jay Barr, man. Love what you guys doing over there, man. I appreciate you coming through and rocking with us. He was somebody else I finally got to meet at PAX East, which was super dope. But listen, I think that's part of the problem. Like, if I am blessed to be able to, PC, PS5, Xbox Series X, Xbox Series S, Nintendo Switch.
I still don't have a PS5.
I am blessed, right? I understand people are saying if you're fully invested into a platform, and you love fighters and you love these type of games, this has to sting. Like, I get why they're upset. They're like, wait a minute, what do you mean? The Switch, the fact that would have been an older game, I get the Switch, but like newer games, I'm like, hold the hell on, right?
Yeah.
It's Switch, PS4, PC. And I believe you can play it on PS5 via PS4 with some way technical aspects I can't really get into. So if you're on Xbox, you're just like, I'm screwed no matter what. But I love these games. I love every game in this collection. I don't get to play it, but everyone else does. You don't support the Xbox One anymore, but you still support the Nintendo Switch. And I get the sales. And I've never been the one to tell you sales matter. But this kind of goes to Capcom is saying, hey, I don't think it's financially responsible for us to continue to support the Xbox One. That sucks, but it's kind of where they're sitting at. Keith, I want to swing over to you and get your thoughts.
No, that's exactly how I feel. I mean, I understand where Kate's coming from, but my thought is, I've always said I want one box to play everything, but we're not there yet, and it's going to take a while till we get there. The problem that I have with this is that Capcom is basically saying, "Hey, look, we know it's our framework, and it's not feasible for us to do it. So we'd rather just cut out all these fans of this game, people who played this game in arcades, people who made this game that it was. Screw you guys. Go buy PlayStation, go buy Switch, go play on PC." That's not the right way to go. It should be, hey, look, maybe we connect with Xbox, Microsoft. Hey, you got all these fans that want this game. How about use some of that multi-billion-dollar money and help us?
Can I ask why though, Keith? Because I feel like it's like the whole Black Baldur's Gate 3, right? Microsoft had to say, "Oh, okay, well, let me go over here and help y'all get this game fixed." And the same thing with Black Myth Wukong. Apparently, it's going to be another situation to where I'm pretty sure when that game releases, it's probably going to release on the Xbox Series X without the S, if that's an issue, right? Yeah. It seems like this is going to become a repeated thing to where, well, if you want the game on your platform, Microsoft, come over here and put the work in. I'm like that's kind of
Xbox. Is the Xbox Series X PlayStation 3? Is that what we're experiencing right now?
Yeah,
that's not funny. Damn.
Yeah, that's exactly what's happening.
Wow.
Yeah, I think this like the big thing for me is like it is a developer thing. Like you need people, you need to staff these teams to make those adaptations, and that is getting increasingly harder because the gaming industry have proven they do not care about they don't believe humans make games.
And
they
here's
think
the
that
thing.
they just pop out and make money.
Right. And here's the thing.
That's not what happens.
And you're like, we're going to make this game, and we know people are going to go bonkers over it because it's Marvel. We know this. Yeah. And we didn't think that there would be no backlash. We're going, oh, Xbox. What about Xbox? What about maybe going, hey, look,
Hey.
Microsoft, we're going to do this, and maybe you should help us first, because if you don't, it's going to make you look like the bad guy.
So I think that nobody's gonna like this answer. But what countries do Nintendo and Sony base out of? Where are their
Oh
headquarters?
yeah, for sure. That's
Well,
another issue.
that's also a big issue, and that has
Yeah,
always
that's
been an
major
issue in
It's
gaming.
always yes.
It has
Xbox
consistently
has
been an
the
issue in
underdog
gaming.
from the get-go.
And
Because
I
they're
love
dumb.
like I have two systems. I guess I have PC, the Switch, and I do have Xboxes. My houses have we have too many freaking Xboxes at this point. But I do think that like there is some give and take, and I think that we've lost it a lot of the times because there has been a push for larger titles going everywhere. I think Square breaking that seal and being like, no, we will actually be on
Right.
Xboxes.
Yeah.
I think that like there has to be an understanding that unless, like you said, we're in that world where there's one box to play everything, and we're very far away from that, country of origin does come into play for the games. Like it is always going to do that because you develop for your primary audience first, and that's always going to be the primary audience. So like if I am in those rooms, I'm thinking, okay, cool, we have to pick which systems to support. You're
Now,
gonna choose PlayStation, you're gonna choose Nintendo.
no, I'm going to say I've done a lot of growing because people who've known me in the past, I would have simply said, play this on PC and shut up.
No,
That's not me anymore.
Yeah,
I
no,
wanna
and I
say
do
that,
agree.
but
That's
I'm
not
not
the
gonna say that.
answer. Yeah, that's not the answer, and I do agree because people don't have that money. People don't have $600 to pick up a game. Like that's just not what it is, and it hasn't been. But
Well, like you said, the developers don't care about us as a whole. We don't have the money
the
to go out and buy.
companies don't care about
The
us as a
companies,
whole.
you're right. The companies do not care that we don't have the money.
Yes,
And at the end of the day, it's
that's
all
what it
about
all
money.
falls back to. That's what it all falls back to. That's why PlayStation has been like the most expensive system. That's why they've been the stingiest with exclusives, because they know at the end of the day that if you want something bad enough in this crappy capitalist system, somebody's gonna budge and buy it.
Race to the bottom.
And
I've heard that
that's
somewhere before.
reality.
Oh, I'm gonna get that tatted on my chest. Like, it's a race to the
Because it
bottom.
leaves people out and people can't play things. Like I would have loved to have played a Spider-Man. I have not. That game does not
That's
exist.
not even. Don't even start me
Like,
on that. That's a complete no.
but-
I don't even want to talk
But that's
about
what's
that.
happening here, and it
The
does. And
biggest IP on like.
I will
I-
agree.
Man.
It probably hurts more because this was for some people like their entryway into gaming. Like Marvel vs. Capcom is a series that has a very big place in my heart. And you're right. It is. Y'all are right. Like that. This is probably like somebody's first moment of like, oh, this is when I fell in love with fighters. This is when I learned I could do X in a game, and then that's why there's more pain in there. But
unpopular opinion, Kate, and I'm gonna switch over to Hug. Unpopular opinion by me. I never want exclusives to go away. I want a reason to buy a console over the other.
I'm split on that.
sorry.
He
I'm
just
split
want to
on
be
it.
found
And
food.
this is from someone. This
This
is from someone who was deemed an Xbox. I'm an Xbox guy, right? See, I'm not one of the PlayStation fanboys that's saying, "Oh,
Yeah.
yeah." This comes from someone who primarily plays on Xbox. So if I didn't have a PS5, I would miss out on these games. I want a reason. Maybe it's because I'm dang near 40. I love a reason to buy. I have an Android phone over an iPhone for. Actually, unfortunately, I have both. I have both an Android and an iPhone, but I prefer Android over iPhone because I wanted to do certain things that the other one can't do. Even though with phones is a little bit slim, with the differences, I want a reason to buy one thing over the other. I don't want everything to be everywhere because I feel like we're all gray. We're just walking around like, hi, hello, how was your video game today? My video game was. I don't want that.
Your
I
cat
like
was
the
smart.
discourse.
This man said he's a pixie.
He said
Are you
he's a
saying
cat
gaming will
that
turn into
hard.
We Happy Few?
I don't know about
Yeah.
that though.
I think
I think-
everybody should have access to games. That means games need
Yes.
to eventually be cheaper and games need to be everywhere. Timed
Especially
exclusives,
digital.
okay, cool. There you go. But like if we actually care about the consumer and being able to buy games and play games to give you a discourse, it makes sense to have it on multiple places.
Why this medium? Why this medium? Because that's like saying, hey,
What
the
other
boys,
medium is
the
that?
boys needs to be on Netflix. Everyone deserves to watch the boys.
Yeah, have you seen Netflix buying everything up from Warner Brothers and redistributing it, or Netflix buying a bunch of the licenses from Crunchyroll titles and prior Funimation titles? That does happen. And I do think that that should be how it is. Like, we have too many streaming services, and ultimately streaming services were the fight against cable,
And
which was
now-
you had to pay extra to have
turned into
cable,
cable.
and Netflix had almost everything that you could get on streaming. So yes, it should be everything. It's not going to, because people want to bleed us dry and take our money. And I'm never
just
going to
think
be in
gaming
the
is
camp of
the-
the company.
I wish I had a
Gaming is the
pirate
one
hat.
median to where everyone wants everything to be across the board the same. I don't. You
I
know,
don't-
when it
the
comes
I
to
don't
newest
think
movies,
medium out
so.
of all
I
of
don't-
these
I don't-
mediums.
walk
Think about
walk
it.
into Taco Bell and be pissed off they got Pepsi. Why is Coke not in here? Oh, we can't. You know what I'm
Okay,
saying?
I have definitely been the person who's been frustrated that I have to drink a damn Pepsi, because Pepsi tastes nasty.
Yeah.
Thank
So
you.
who the heck-
Thank you very much.
Whoa,
Same.
no,
No,
ma'am.
Pepsi is trash.
Pepsi is
Sorry, no,
king.
I
Pepsi
can't
is-
go there.
mhm.
That's not good.
Mhm.
Dr. Pepper is number one. Pepsi. is
Yes,
number
I'll give you that.
Dr. Pepper. I'm a Dr. Pepper guy.
Dr.
No,
Pepper is
I-
good.
I think if you actually look at it in the film and TV space, that is actually a conversation that everybody's having. And that it, like, coming from both games and film and TV, the arguments that happen over distribution of medium is alive and well there too. It's not only happening in gaming.
Mm.
The problem with gaming is it costs more money. If something's only playing in theaters and not streaming, I'm out $12. If something's only playing on a PlayStation, I'm out $600. Like that is
Not
the
even,
difference
not even
between
that,
adapting
Kate,
to
because you
mediums.
know eventually if something's in the theater, it will eventually trickle down to cable or streaming service. So eventually you will get it.
timed exclusives.
Well,
Yeah.
yeah, timed exclusives, or if you look at the case of like foreign films, which most of the time take extremely long, like how long has it taken for us to get Godzilla -1? That's
Yeah.
another situation. You don't know if you're ever going to get access to it. You also have a lot of independent films that never go on streaming, but you can buy them via a digital medium wherever you, like, whatever your VOD of choice is. But it is a conversation that's happening everywhere. It's not just in gaming. It looks different, but accessibility to the medium is still a conversation that's happening. And we have to ask ourselves, do you want more people to play games? And if the answer is yes, then we have to understand that buying into that system that pushes us to spend more money isn't always going to get us to that end result. Because I do, as a consumer, I understand I spent this much money on this console. It better have something this one doesn't. That makes sense. Like that, I can see that argument. But if we kind of zoom out and look in the long run, like if you did have something that played everything, which most of the times that is a PC at this point, like that's also investment that you're making for yourself as well, because now you don't have to have multiple things.
I think where else it kind of gets me, and I'm still gonna swing to you, love. I'm so sorry. Is that another reason I don't want that is because competition breeds innovation. And
It hasn't been. It hasn't been. That's the problem with games. It has not
I don't
been.
think that's going away though.
Well,
Like, okay, so
when you look at okay, for perfect example, when you look at, if we take it back, why do you have PS Plus now? It's because you had games for Go. Why do Xbox Game Pass has made other, PlayStation go hard inside? They're the competition between each other. The reason why you want to come one over the other one is because, hey, you did this. Now
But
watch me
that's
do
not
this.
innovation. That is not innovation.
Yeah.
That is keeping
plus-
up. That is not innovation. Innovation being bred by competition is a capitalist lie. Like, if people actually care about their consumers, they will do those things. That's the
What the
ultimate
revolution?
truth. So yeah, PlayStation's in a better
with the
spot.
console. What they're doing, like for instance, PlayStation's whole thing is like, hey, we're gonna do some very cool things with our SSD. We're gonna make sure, because I remember when I had an Xbox and Baron was on last gen, and we fought because I'm like, bro, you're taking L for us to get inside this game. He was like, oh, we're into it. To me, what they're doing with the technology and how they're making things better and how they're competing against each other is super important to me. And
But
I think
that's not what's happening though.
Yeah, that's not the same thing though. Another great example is we'll go back to the PC side of things. We got Steam and we got Epic Game Store. Like, Steam has innovated. They have innovated. They're constantly innovating. Even without Epic Game Store being in the picture, they're innovating because they want
How?
to give their consumer.
Bro, Steam Next Fest reached that alone.
Yeah.
We got the
Hey,
consoles, we got
you can't
that.
tell me
make
something
things
like
the
Game
Steam Deck,
Pass.
We got the
Something
Steam
like Game
OS.
Pass.
We got
Well,
Cloud
console was
Save,
not
which now
innovation,
is
it's
everywhere
innovation.
now. You can thank Steam for that because without Steam, nobody would have been doing that. So thank you very much, Steam.
No, Game Pass was competing with Steam. Game Pass wasn't competing with anything that PlayStation was doing. Game Pass was competing with the accessibility piece of very cheap games on Steam, which made people choose PCs. That was what they were doing. Game Pass was acquiring stables of indies, and all of the indies who end up on Game Pass are fully funded. They do not have to worry about losing their money. That is something that you don't get from Steam. So when Game Pass was being made, it was being made to build up an indie area on Xbox. Now, I think you can say that people react. That stuff's still not great, but no, PS Plus, but it's there to keep up. That's what it is. People say I have to keep up with something, or in the case like what Keith said, you have to iterate on what you are making, whether there's somebody else making it or not. In order to keep your consumers, you have to give them more reason to be coming back. You have to make things more expensive. To make things more expensive, you have to give them something.
I think
you're going to end up with that.
I think when people forget, and this has gotten lost, people assume that you have to have two companies or more to have them innovate. No, you can innovate on your own. It just means you want to get better and offer better things and do better things. You don't need to have another person to innovate. It just seems like people have gotten to the point where, all right, they've given this, all right, let's just give them something else similar and then one or two more things better. Okay, fine. So if there was no PlayStation and it's just Xbox, what will we have? Or if there was no Xbox, it's just PlayStation.
But Steam's not doing anything because it's like get in competition with Epic. Steam has such a monopoly on anything. They don't like there are no competitors for it. Epic can pretend that it is.
Well, it's time for FTC to break up Steam if they have a monopoly. So we hate monopolies in the USA, right?
See, they're not taking
someone call
it
Someone call it FTC. No, we say a monopoly.
They're not.
So someone call it FTC and break them up.
No, you know what? Disney should be broken up. That's what happened. But it wasn't because the US talks a lot of game. It doesn't actually follow through on anything on hating monopolies. But that's the reality of it. Because if you look at streaming situations, to pull it to another media, like the innovation that's happening in streaming is actually worse for the consumer. One streaming platform pulled out no sharing of passwords. Everybody else started following suit. One streaming company decided, well, we'll run a base level tier at the most dog shit of frame rates and resolution for people because they'll pay for it. And then other ones followed suit. Like you can't, innovation doesn't always mean something positive. And a lot of the times what happens competitively when you have those things going, it does hurt the consumer. And streaming, where there are now so many options to choose from, they're not pushing to make each other better. They're pushing to make more money. And like when you look at a company, that is the way it is. It's not about making it better for the consumer. It is always about how they can make more money.
And can I bitch about that for a second? Because being the tech guy here, I want to complain about streaming services, but the fact that they're also not taking advantage of what we have. They're not taking advantage of people that have 4K TVs. They're not taking advantage of higher bandwidth. They're not taking advantage of all that unless you want to pay. And even then, they give you dog shit.
So, guys.
Anyway, sorry. I just feel very passionate about this piece.
It's good. It's totally good.
I love this.
This is absolutely perfect. I still would die on the hill that once competition is over with, and let's say, for instance, Sony wins the war, and they completely, there's nothing but a PlayStation, right? There's nothing but PlayStation, and all the games are on there. When your console is $1,200, I don't hear nobody complaining because they can do what they want to do because they got nobody to compete with.
People did not buy it.
That's also not how that works.
Yeah,
because the prices have been going up consistently. The only time that something's happened where it's going to be cheaper is an Xbox S. Nintendo isn't even in this race. Like this is
they don't need to be in this race. They're the Apple.
We have this conversation as if there are so many competitors fighting to push each other to do anything. PC's over here doing its own thing, and Nintendo's just over here selling you Mario for $70 every time and never putting it on sale because they know they can do it. Like competition is so like at this scale of money that they are making, it does not mean anything because people have also made their own camps. And I think ultimately, right now for me, the way I see it, there are different bases that these consoles serve. I don't care about single player games. I don't want to watch a movie. I want to play a video game. So I play a lot of multiplayer games on my computer with my husband, and I play a lot of multiplayer games on my Xbox with my husband because that's just where I have always been. And that's kind of been where Xbox has always pushed. It's always pushing innovation, not necessarily on what it's doing now to keep up with single player games of PlayStation, but all of their innovative pieces has been something that PlayStation has been grasping for, which is building good online services. But on the other side, you have PlayStation, who is innovative so much in first party titles, its own thing, and pushed really hard on those cinematic game experiences. And that's what you get on a PlayStation. I think that it's perfectly okay to say that, like, hey, I'm a gamer who likes all of the things that are accessible. But I also do think that, like, there isn't a competition that is fighting for the same person, because ultimately both of these people are innovating in two opposite ways. They're innovating for two existing communities that they already have. They're not innovating in competition with each other, which goes back to what
for the
Pete
same
said.
dollar.
Hey, but no, I will not say that, because if it was pure competition, like legit competition in the way we think is happening, Call of Duty would have been exclusive after the deal. After the deal went through.
But
We
that's
can
a
take- we
different
can- we can
circumstance.
take the
We
PC
can't
Call of
use
Duty.
it as
Guess what?
on.
No,
They didn't
you
have
know
a
what's funny?
choice.
But no. When you got enough money, laws don't mean nothing.
Bull-
You don't think they would have
Not
took
wrong.
took $100 million hit to make it exclusive?
If that's the case, AT&T would still be what they were before the government said, you know what, too much, break it down. Money
They
don't
take-
always
they take and
Well,
choose
that's
what they
Morgan
want to do.
Allen.
T-Mobile took Sprint.
I was like, I had
because
to
they're
leave.
two small brands.
T-Mobile and Sprint
T-Mobile
are
is
not
small.
I had to
They
leave
were.
T-Mobile
Are
as
you
a Texan
serious?
because of AT&T, sir. I had to leave T-Mobile as a Texan because my phone would become a brick if I
Like,
went into the city of Dallas.
but this is what I'm saying. But all seriousness, if it what, bro, what's the most
Only reason
FTC
they
would
got
have
the box
fined them?
print is because Spectrum came in and told the government that they would be the fourth provider. That's the only reason. If another company didn't come in and say, hey, we will be the other small provider, they wouldn't have allowed it to happen. There were two small providers and they allowed them to buy them, but only because another company said, hey, FTC, I will be a small provider as well, and I'll provide a phone first.
And that's a fact. These are all facts. Nobody's saying what they agreed to before the deal is not the case. I am with you 1,000%, but I am a firm believer that the richest company on planet Earth, I keep saying that, it sounds like a joke, but this is very real. Earth.
NVIDIA surpassed them, by the way.
Oh, that's cool.
As not the richest, but the most
assets or what?
Valuable.
Well,
I guess you said
but
NVIDIA just passed them.
That's dope. That's crazy. But my point is,
AI.
Bro, when it comes to rules, if you got enough money, they don't matter. And we see that everywhere in every part of life. You don't think they would have? How much would the U.S. would have fined them? How? Because no other country cared. So how much would the U.S. would have fined them? The U.S. is not going to boot out its poster child because they broke a rule in the video game space.
Enough to make them not do it.
Nah, I don't think so.
Because if that was the case, they just would have.
But no. But this is going. The whole premise of me even bring that up is if competition is the sole thing. If it was purely about winning the gaming space and not making money across the board and extending your fingers as far as you can go, they would have totally made it exclusive and killed PlayStation.
PlayStation been trying to cut Xbox's head off for
it has, and it can't, because they're ultimately dealing with two different areas. Like, that is the thing. I agree with you. Anytime you listen to any other CEO, whenever you listen to people talk about the competition piece, is I actually think that we are way more invested in burying the other console that we don't like than the actual companies are at the end of the day. Like, that's the reality.
Say it again, because people don't understand that. People do not understand that.
They are existing in the same ecosystem. Why have all of them been able to lay people off in the US? Well, you see, they all care about their bottom line and their money. They're not trying to compete for best tech. Like, yes, there is a consumer share to think of, but they're all choosing different ways to go at it. And it's not in direct competition. And I think that that's like the larger
Capcom
thing.
versus Marvel too.
I think
we say that, but
publishers-
then we say that, but then you pay millions of dollars to make sure, hey, you making that game, that looks dope. Here's a couple of $1 million. Don't put it over there.
Yeah.
We say that, but then these things happen all the time. Yes, they need each other to survive. I get that. They all want to make money. Yes, but at the same time, a company will pay millions of dollars to say, you know what? Don't put that over there. I don't own this game. I don't own a lick of this game, but you know what? I'm going to pay you Square Enix. I'm going to pay you millions of dollars. Do not put Final Fantasy on 7 on Xbox. Why? Because I want all the dollars
that they would have spent on that
over here.
That's what Sony does, right? Microsoft's been buying licenses and not stripping them from other consoles.
Xbox has third-party exclusives.
They do, but I'm talking about existing series. So like if that's the case, right? So Sony for the longest time had that deal with Square, right?
True.
When Microsoft bought their way in, they could have said, "Well, we'll buy this again, richest company on second richest company in the planet."
Man.
They could have boxed that out. They didn't, because ultimately, at the end of the day, as well, I think that this is also the larger thing that nobody's really looking at too. Is like Microsoft exists as two platforms. Sony exists as one. Microsoft has all the PC gamers. And all of their stuff, when it comes out, it's not exclusive. It's all immediately released on PC as it is already. So you're building an ecosystem that is fostering more people coming into it than less people. So I do agree. Like, people have been buying stuff up and saying, oh, well, like, hey, this existing thing, just be on me. I agree. But I also think that it's not happening to, like, the extent that really pushes that idea, at least in my opinion. Like, I think that we blow this console war thing up to be way bigger than it actually is.
Can we like let it the air like can we let it breathe a bit and acknowledge that all of this is because Capcom versus Marvel versus Capcom 2 is not on Xbox?
Kate, I need you here every week because man, I love it. But no, but that's really but we're off the heels of Dallas's most anticipated game, Black Myth Wukong, and it being now console exclusive to PlayStation because of the issue with the Xbox Series S. And all sort of still boils down to is there's an issue of support when it comes to whether it was the empty frame rate for the Xbox One or support the Xbox Series S that's causing Xbox to miss out on games a la Baldur's Gate 3 without Microsoft having to go in and say, we'll fix it.
But that's not necessarily them, though. When you develop a game, you buy a dev kit for the consoles that you are going to develop a game on. Like, that is what happens. A company says, I want my game to be on these platforms. You are then given a dev kit because each of these things are different. It's not just flipping on a switch. All of them run differently. All of them have to be coded differently. All of them have to be platformed differently. So, like, I don't think it's fair to say that that's an Xbox problem. That's a publisher problem. That's a developer problem. That's them choosing that piece. And you can't put that, but I know, but you can't put, you're saying that like, oh, well, Microsoft isn't stepping in to give them money to do this. It's like, at the end of the day, that's not their view.
What I'm saying is, let me rephrase it. It's bullshit that Microsoft has to always step in and say, oh, I'll fix it for you. I'll get this running. When you announce this game for my platform, when it comes to Black Myth Wukong, when it comes to Baldur's Gate 3, and now all of a sudden, when it's time to come out, it's time to be shown. My platform is the one that's not being shown. Now people are saying, now Microsoft has to step in to fix the issue. That's bullshit.
Yeah, that's
better phrase what I'm saying to make it.
That's fair. That makes more sense.
Yes.
Yes. Exactly. Yes, that makes sense. Exactly. You shouldn't have the publisher coming in and
But see, the problem with that is we go back to Microsoft at the very beginning offering two different SKUs. When you knew that one was going to be the weaker of the two, and it's going to have a problem, but your goal was to get more consoles into people's homes and go, okay, you can still have an Xbox, play these Xbox games. And then later down the road, we're seeing that, hey, S is having more and more issues. More publishers are going, hey, this is a problem. Hey, we can develop a game for it. The developers go, we can develop the game on it, but it'll run like shit. Do you want this? No, we don't want this. Okay, either we need help, or the bottom line is that we can't put it on Xbox because Microsoft is, if you can't put it on S, you can't put it on X.
And they're going to back away from that pretty quick. They've
already going to back away from that. They cannot. They've
already done it.
No, I think that they can back away from it because that has always been the understanding that the S was running like not as well, and until the gen caught up, like the gen of development caught up with the gen of the console, it was going to be viable. I think we've been pushing past that though with the recent developments.
Okay, let me.
And I think that's understanding.
They could back away from it, but then that would be abandoning millions of people who have an S who bought that system with the pretense, hey, these games are going to come to my console because I bought this, and you told me this.
And I don't think they said that though. Like, I think that they always said that it was going to run at a lesser standard.
I thought they pushed the whole parity thing. Like that was.
Is that what it was? Because I remember
them pushing parity.
Yeah, that's exactly what I'm saying.
That was
it has to be.
Like it's going to be streaming only. You'll be able to.
That's their big push.
Yeah. Okay.
So they can't. If they do that, then I mean, let's be honest. Microsoft is already in a lot of backlash as it is, but this would not be good for them.
But again, they did it.
Yeah.
They did it with bonus. They did it with bonus game. But man, we've been going for 40 minutes, and I ain't even got over to the end of the damn panel yet.
But that's how
Look at
big.
dancing at this
No,
debate. Which
but
hey, I
that's
need
how
doing every
big
week.
Marvel versus Capcom 2 is. Like,
People that are
let's
listening to the
brand
show
it.
who have never played Marvel's Capcom do not understand that
This is that big.
this is the fighting game
Yeah.
of fighting games. This is why there's always Marvel vs. 2 Capcom tournaments. Why people are always saying, bring back this game. This was damn near perfect.
This game that's coming out. The physical version, when it does get announced, because I am buying it on both consoles. This is like $1,800 worth of games, physical. If you went out and bought the physical of these games right now, you spend about 18, easy. That's how crazy this game is. Like, this is that serious. As you can see, 40 minutes of conversation that led to Microsoft being a global conglomerate.
Hugs, I'm gonna switch over to you. Is man, I don't even know how to transition back because I said Hugs, you next like 25 minutes ago.
I'll save you. Absolutely not following that up because y'all hit it from the rooter to the tutor. I got nothing else to add.
Me and Hooker sitting back thoroughly entertained, man. I'm like, listen.
Y'all hit it from the rooter to the tutor. I got nothing to add.
Hey Keith, how often can we get y'all to come back, man? Because damn.
Yeah. Damn.
And then Kate over here actually spitting bars. Like, wait, I didn't even think about it that way. Got me over here
I need
like
to start writing this down. Like,
we need more.
damn.
And I'm a brick.
Okay, here's one more thing. Now with this game coming out, keep in touch, Baron. When this game comes out, all those people that were selling Marvel vs. Capcom 2 on PlayStation, that shit's gonna drop in price.
Ooh,
and I'm gonna like it.
Oh yeah. I found my Xbox copy. So I'm happy. But yeah, like I went to my mom's house and looked in a book and it was like in a sleeve.
All those fools selling that game for $300 on eBay. I'm gonna laugh at every one of them.
Yeah.
What's funny is like I don't care about remasters that much because I'm just like I played the game, whatever. I understand the whole like bring new people in, that's good, but you're just most of the time not going to get money from me. But I think what I do like about them is exactly what you said, Keith. They're going to crash all of those people gouging
hilarious.
those
Kill the
games.
market.
So I want to ask the panel a question. Shout out to the chat, man. If you guys still rocking with us, hit that like button. They say Kate is cooking in the chat, man. Hit that like button, share the stream out, helps us out a whole bunch. I want to ask the panel something. You guys remember a time where Gamescom was like it wasn't the Super Bowl, it was like the NBA Finals, where it's like, hey, we had the Super Bowl, and then the NBA Finals was right around the corner. Like, it meant something because we knew we got to showcase the E3, and they're gonna hold a little bit back to give us a showcase at Gamescom.
That's
and
what
now,
it always was.
Nintendo, not at Gamescom. PlayStation just came out and said, hey, we're not going to be at Gamescom. According to Paris Lilly of XCast, he's saying, hey, Xbox might be showing some stuff at Gamescom. D, I'm going to start with you. I'm going from you to Hugger, then the rest of us who talk too much will jump in. But D, I'm going to start with you. If it's true that, Xbox is going to be showing something, and PlayStation isn't, and they did not have a summer showcase as of right now, is it a mistake for them not to show up at Gamescom?
It's a mistake to show up if you don't have nothing worth showing. Like, I don't think that, I think people, now, if they had rushed to show literally anything, or if there was like a sizzle reel of stuff that we already knew was coming, and we don't even get the CGI trailer that we keep complaining about, then we complain about that. I feel like we always got something to complain about. But in this case, no. If you ain't got nothing that you want to show, then don't show anything. Like, go dark. I don't want to know. I don't even want to know you working on nothing until it pops up. Did it all of a sudden random like Ghost of Tsushima 2 trailer drops on YouTube? Nobody knows nothing about it. Boom, it's viral. Just like, listen, if you got nothing to say, then shut the fuck up. Otherwise, you are going to put your foot in your mouth. And Baron is the only one here that likes toes. So I don't.
Listen. Do you think this has anything to do with them
5 stars
stepping back from those 12 multiplayer games? Because we know at one point there were a lot of the developers were shifting to making those trying to make their own Sea of Thieves, and PlayStation has backpedaled from that and going to focus more what they do great, which is single player, third person over the shoulder action adventure title with a little bit of stealth. Try saying that 14 times. Do you think that's part of the issue? Why, like, there's no summer show. They had that state of play, which was cool, but like they didn't have their showcase. It was decent. Do you think that's part of the issue, D?
I think if we want to watch a big company fail at multiplayer games nobody cares about, we'll keep watching WB. I think that's one of the biggest mistakes they could have made. One of the biggest mistakes. Listen, if you wanted a good multiplayer game, you could have just given us a Quidditch mode in Hogwarts Legacy and done nothing else. We saw the trailer for that Quidditch game, and tell me you want to play it. Okay, see,
No,
that's
I
my
don't wanna
point.
play it.
Okay,
And I played the
that's my
original
point.
too.
Now imagine that being PlayStation, and we know we know PlayStation 4 what we know them for, but at the end of the day, we like those games because they are good, because they are fun to play, because they give us something to talk about, because they give us experiences. And if you are going to give me an experience that I'm going to like less than the experience that you usually provide, it's probably a mistake.
It kills me that they're sitting on SOCOM and haven't done nothing, but I'm shut up.
They shouldn't have canceled that Spider-Man game. That Spider-Man multiplayer game looked dope as hell. I'm sorry.
That's the next thing I was about to say. Now I saw nothing from it, but just the concept. Like they all already knee deep in the Spider-Verse. If you were going to do a big multiplayer game that you want people to care about, fresh off the heels of 19 inches of Venom, this is the game that you should have kept. What else do you need? That's the game you should have kept. And since you're not doing that, I don't know how much more multiplayer stuff I actually want to see from you. That's not made because the game is good. Because when you're not making it because the game is good, you're making it because you want some more money. And both things can exist. I think companies forget that way too often. Both things can exist. You can make a game that people like, and then they'll give you money. Ask FromSoft.
Hugger, any hurt that Nintendo and now PlayStation are skipping Gamescom? Because I mean, Gamescom is not nothing I even look forward to anymore now. So I was like, I'll look at the highlights. I don't, when it came to the Ubisoft show, the Xbox show, Nintendo Direct, like I'm sitting down ready to go. But Gamescom is just an afterthought now.
I mean, like Dallas said, if you ain't got nothing to show, don't show up. The only thing I want to see, and the only way they should come back, is if they give us Life of Black Tiger 2. I am eagerly.
Let's go.
I'm eagerly awaiting.
But listen, it's been like 5 years since. I think it's been like 4 or 5 years, Hugger, since PlayStation has been to Gamescom. Like I don't think they're ever going. Honestly.
But do they need to?
See, I'm gonna tell you, PlayStation, Sony wins small ball, and they don't even have to hit home runs all day. I've been watching baseball a lot with my wife, so shout out to her for putting me on. But look, like PlayStation will go and meet the people where they are. Like they just did a whole like Astro Playroom last month, live games. They had they made like mini games in like a carnival, and they meet the people where they are, and they're just constantly marketing. You're gonna see their stuff on buses, you're gonna see their stuff on trains, you're gonna see their stuff in billboards, you're gonna see them in New York Times Square. Like they constantly. So Gamescom, I could see why they skip it, because it's cheaper to just keep throwing it everywhere else and meet the people where they're at.
That's the other part. To go to this stuff is, yes, they are multi-million-dollar companies. It's expensive to go to this stuff.
Thousands of dollars. You're paying, like, it's the booth fees. It's however much you're paying to make that booth. It's all of the salaries for everybody you have attending on the dev side. It's all of the hourly work for all of the people you're coming in, like the demoist and piece. With the death of E3, it was the death of the investment in these large conventions and these large trade shows. That's what that was. Like, because when everybody realized they could do an online showcase, they realized that they did not need to invest during these little bits of time. Because if they're going to say Sony announces a showcase for a month after Gamescom never mattered, because they just got to pick the place and the time that they did it, and they know everybody's going to tune in and watch. And I think that is like the death of E3 solidified that. And it's not just Sony. Nintendo does it all the time too. They don't show up to anything.
Yeah.
they don't care.
Like they do their own thing, and that's what happens. And I think that's like, whether it's meeting people where they are, just knowing that like if they build it, they will come, and that's what they do when they put on a random ass showcase in the middle of the day that nobody realized they were getting. You don't have to invest in conventions anymore, and I think that it is sad because now we no longer have those hubs. We don't have those spaces for people to, even people on our side, on like the journalist side, on the content creation side, to like come in and get to report on it and work with it. Like, they are doing showcases because they are speaking directly to the consumer. They're not having to speak to press. They're not having to do anything else. They've taken it all into their own hands, and that's what that's the play that they're making. Also, I totally agree. If you have nothing to show, it's better just not to show up, because you don't want to like.
I think when it comes to PlayStation, I think they have stuff to show. They just don't want to show it. They haven't been there. They haven't been there in 4 years.
I would question the state of what they have to show because of the 20,000 layoffs that have happened since 2023 in the games industry. Sony made up a large piece of those.
Yeah,
So.
no, that's
Revolution.
We still have Pepper Sleep stuff left.
Y'all can't see, but my fist is in the air.
I'm telling you.
Y'all acting up because of Juneteenth. B, I'm gonna swing over these last word before I'm crunching time now. PlayStation
Crunch
joining Nintendo, not going to Gamescom. But apparently Xbox is going to be there because apparently they got more stuff they want to show, which is interesting.
Well, now, okay, I don't think that it's interesting. I think it's just them finally catching up, because let's be real, this showcase was amazing and it was so dope, but this was all the stuff from 2019. Yeah. You know, Stalker,
and there's still more stuff from
State
back
of
then.
Decay. Yeah, like this is all stuff that was announced back then, and it's finally just hitting its stride. But once again, Sony operates in a space where they can almost do what they want, because every time I go into a physical store, I see somebody buying a PlayStation. Every time, and they always give them the warning: hold it at the bottom of the box, because the box isn't too stable. It's really thin, so hold it from the bottom. I could almost walk you through the process of watching somebody buy a PS5, because
every time I leave GameStop, somebody's
buying a PS5. Yeah. It just is what it is. So I don't really think they have to. They would have had to be somewhere if Call of Duty was exclusive. Bro, can we okay? Because I love
episode about that.
No, because like, can we imagine the marketing of the world where PlayStation doesn't have COD anymore? Like, they would turn into a whole new. They'd be coming out with everything. The indie scene would boom on PlayStation. They would be out here marketing like crazy. It would be silly, and it's not even being dramatic. That's real. Oh, dude,
controversial.
Go for it.
It's a good chance PlayStation wouldn't be what it is or go where it's going if it lost Call of Duty, because that's how important.
Oh, bro, that's a fact. That's a fact.
They were to lose it. That's why they fought so hard. If they were to lose it,
yeah,
it's a wrap.
You don't fight. You don't throw your business out there for the world to see. For
they
just
did
the
too, clutching their pearls, and then like
it's just the
he's
game.
The aggressor.
No.
Yeah.
And it was only about Call of Duty. I don't care. They didn't care about mobile. They didn't care about nothing else.
No,
they didn't care. It was like, the simple fact that if they lose Call of Duty, it's a wrap. It's a wrap, and because that's a console mover. But so Sony doesn't have to be there. Nintendo is a company that sold us cardboard boxes in mass. So they don't have to be there. They literally just announced that after 50 years, we get to now play as Zelda. So yeah, they're good. Like we're getting to play as Peach and Zelda. Oh, bro, they got us for another 5 years.
So should it be called Legend of Link?
You know what? The amount of memes that would come out of that,
right? Because I'm already thinking of like 6 of them.
Bro,
it should be called Legend of Link.
Legend of the Glizzy.
Yo, when I leave this podcast, the first thing I'm gonna say to my girl.
But since you brought up Zelda, right? One of the most hyped and dope thing about the Nintendo Direct was Metroid. For a lot of people, this was the other than. But here's the thing: it looked great. I don't trust it because it looks so good. I don't feel like that's running on the OG Switch.
Hell no.
Did they say it was on the original
This game
Switch? Did they say
needs to
that?
switch too. It needs to switch too. It needs a Switch too, because we know Nintendo games typically they run at 60 frames per second. They run really well. They look really well. I feel like this game, because we're not going to get it on a PC. I mean, some people will, but like legally or whatever you want to call it. Like to me, this game needs to launch alongside the Switch too. And I think it's dope because next year we're getting Samus and we're getting Doom Guy. All we need is for Halo to do something. We got all the helmet people back in action in 1 year. I need something Halo next year.
That is not funny.
B.
That is not.
Y'all know what's funny?
That's not what I meant, bro. Stop.
That's not funny.
That's not what I meant.
Let's just move on. You got it. Keep going.
Sometimes we
The
have episodes where I look back and I'm like, yeah.
FPS people.
That's the one.
FPS people. If we get something from Halo, we got all three of them back. I want to swing over to you, Beyond, start with you. Your thoughts on Metroid, because Metroid Prime 4 it's real. I think we can finally take it out. That and Fable, we can finally take it out of this game isn't real. Because it was in there, not Fable, Perfect Dark. It was in there with Perfect Dark, as in like we've seen it, but this game isn't real. I think we can finally say Metroid Prime 4 is real.
You're talking to a guy who didn't believe Hellblade 2 until it legitimately was being played by people. I have no faith in this space. Street dates are not real. And all we've gotten this whole, for a majority of the big AAA games, all we got was like windows. That's the new thing. I don't know if y'all caught that.
Is even a window? That's a whole hole in the wall. Like it's just like 25 sometime.
There's a quarter of that century. like
in the next 10 years, you'll see Marcus
somewhere
and
in there. And no,
bro. Hey, that's why I went like that. Just
bro. Hey, yeah, that's fair. And if that's the case, I'll believe it then when I see the actual Switch console that comes out designed after it. I have no faith. None of these things are real. Hellblade 2 is still not real.
Bayonetta 3 came out. It's come out. Bayonetta 3 came out.
Mother, where's Mother? No, I'm doing
Baron.
Hey, no order. Anybody on the panel? What did you guys think about Metroid Prime 4? To me, that's one that instantly put itself to one of my most anticipated games.
I can't wait. I can't freaking wait. Listen, I'm a Metroid fan. It's one of the most underserviced IPs that Nintendo has. And I'm tired.
It's woke because Samus is a girl.
It's woke. And maybe that's what happened. Maybe they went broke. But I doubt it, because like we needed somebody to compete with Abby from The Last of Us, and they got the same size shoulders. So I think.
Did you just compare Abby's shoulders to Samus in her outfit?
I hate it here sometimes.
Man, villain activity.
Nah, but I can't tell you how excited I actually am. Like I might have to go back down the Metroid rabbit hole and replay all of these games. Y'all know how I felt about Metroid Fusion. I was probably the only person streaming it at the time that I did. And I had so much fun, and I'm about to have some more. I'm probably this is every now and then a game comes out in a series that I'm so excited about that I have to play the whole series from scratch. This is one of those. And I don't know how many people get that inspired when it comes to some video games. And these days, that's a rare thing. And I really like for video games to make me want to play video games, because as much time as I spend talking about video games, not enough of the conversation is about the actual video game. And so it just tickles my black ass heart, and I can't wait.
I just wanted, because my Switch gets no love. I'm sorry, I would never buy a third-party game.
Go play Potion Permit. It's fire.
What the hell is that?
You saving the community. But Black Dynamite, no, I'm just playing. But yeah, I'm playing Potion Permit.
Anaconda Malt Liquor did pop in my head when you said that, though.
Well, we hit our time.
Not the
I
whale.
was like, wrap it up. We're done.
Unfortunately, we went a little longer on one spot, but I absolutely love it. Shout out to Kate for coming through and deciding she want
Don't
to
invite me again. I just don't know how to stop talking.
No, you will
No.
get invited. Multiple. You're gonna get an email next week.
Shout out to Keith from the Outer Haven coming through and rocking with us per usual. My man is always welcome anytime. He knows this. Hopefully, everybody going to PAX West?
Yeah, you are. Yeah, yeah.
I wasn't thinking about it.
I see him at PAX West.
I'll be there.
Yeah.
Everybody's been asking me, so I keep saying the same things, like I'm doing anything else, right? So might as well.
Damn.
If I can pull myself away from Elden Ring, sorry, not sorry.
Show you right.
Oh
Don't
my
be,
god.
'cause Black Myth Wukong, I'm no lifing.
Oh yeah, he's buying it on PlayStation because it's not on Xbox. Listen, we're gonna get up out of here because we did. Yeah,
Damn.
yeah.
It all goes back to Marvel versus Capcom 2.
Oh God.
It is.
Hey,
Listen, we're
y'all.
gonna get up out of here. We'll be back next Wednesday. Make sure you guys go check out Kate and everything she does at Bo White, though. Make sure you guys go check out Keith and everything he does at the Outer Haven. With all that said, congratulations. You guys leveled up 294. This was the Level 1 Gaming Podcast. We'll see you guys next Wednesday. Peace.
Go watch the Kendrick Lamar concert.